Okay, you want to have it? Street number two. I was starting from the bottom of Beis and Aleph, Megillah, and we're gonna. Yesterday we discussed what days of the month you're allowed to lane. You're allowed to basically give me a dollar, depending on how it falls out, how Yudal falls out during the week, and how that works with the cities and the small cities and the big cities. That was yesterday. Today we're going to learn about how it works. Bisman Azeh, there's machlekes Bisman Azeh today also. Look at the Gemara. Amar Rabba Bar Chan, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Bar Chan says in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Zudiv Rabbi Kiva. Our Mishnah is Rabbi Kiva Slibasa, the one who's Soisim. Rashi brings down two reasons why he is. I don't know why I have a waiting room. Right? Rashi says that the reason why it's called Rabbi Kiva Slibasa is because a lot of times Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was Soisim Mishnayis. Aliba de Rabbi Kiva. So a lot of times our Mishnah, let's say, there's no author of our Mishnah. Our Mishnah doesn't say who it is. It's Rabbi Kiva. So Rabbi Yochanan saying this is our Mishnah is Rabbi Kiva. He has this Joshua we learned yesterday of Zman from the Lashon Megillah of Zman. They learned three different halachas, and one of them is that there's 2 extra days that we're allowed to, 3 extra days really that we're allowed to lane Megillah during the month. The Chum argue they don't have this drasha. They don't learn Sai, Zmanam, and Sai, even Kayamim like the other mandam we learned yesterday. And there has to be Dafka. It says in the Megillah Yudal Tazvav, and that's it. Only the big cities Yudal, the walled cities Tazvav, and no one gets to come in earlier. Meisvei, Rabbi Yehuda, Amosai. We have a price. Rabbi Yehuda says, Amosai. When do we say that you're able to lane earlier? Bizman sha'asharim ketiknan v'yisrael shurin alad masam. Dafka when the years, the calendar is run by Klai Yisrael by Riyah. When we're running the show, when Bezdin's in the Lishka over there, but in the Beis Hamikdash, and we Mekadosh B'Riyah, so the Edom come in, they say we saw the moon. So that's when we go early. That's when it's shaykh to lane the Megillah early. Only then we're allowed to. But today that we don't have the Bezdin's is not running the show. But because we look to Megillah to find out when Pesach is, because Pesach is Yudalad and Pesach is Yudalad Nisan and Purim is Yudalad Adar. So we count after Yudalad Adar to figure out when when Pesach is. You have to dafka lane it on time. Why? Because if you're going to lane it early, some guy's going to make a teshbin and he's going to keep Pesach early. No, what's the shlach that he lanes Pesach early? He's going to finish Pesach early. He's going to be eating chametz on Pesach. To be eat matzah. Okay, it's a minute. We don't eat Pesach from Mishchaydish. A lot of people, right? It's not the end of the world. The problem is he's going to keep. If he starts Yud Aleph Megillah, he's going to say, okay, so Pesach's also Yud Aleph. No, he's going to count 30 days. He's going to keep Pesach. He's going to end Pesach a week early. He's going to 5 days early. He's going to eat chametz on Pesach. So therefore, you can only do it bismana. Yehuda, I'll leave it more like this. We have a memo from Yehuda that says that it's that bismana zeh we don't lay Megillah early. So effectively more like this. Rabbi Yehuda, I'll leave it man. If you just told me that Rabbi Kiva says that our mission is Rabbi Kiva and the Chum hold b'chlal we don't lane early. So who's Rabbi Yehuda? How does he go? Who does he go according to? I'll leave it the man. I'll leave it to Rabbi Kiva. If you're going to say that he holds like Rabbi Kiva, afilu b'zman hazeh isel l'tagana. Rabbi Kiva in our mission does not make it doesn't make enough commitment between b'zman hazeh and b'zman hamikdash, b'zman shurin al aretz. He says always this is how you lane. Whatever when you don't have to basically give that. This is b'zman. I'll leave it darbanan. You can say it's a leave it darbanan. Ub'zman sha'asharim but they hold that you never lane. So it's no one makes enough gemina in their psak. Rabbi Kiva says his psak is always you lane early when according to the cheshbon of yesterday, and the Rabbanan say we never lane early. So the Rabbi Yehuda that comes in and says it's sevensach. It depends on if we're running the show. He doesn't have any place. He doesn't hold like any of the sheets that we mentioned. So we're saying this halacha that Rabbi Yochanan repeated in the name of Rabbi Yehuda is upgefragt. It doesn't work. There's another mahalach of learning this back and forth of this memory of Rabbi Yochanan as follows. This Rabbi Baruch says in the name of Rabbi Judah Rabbi Kivas the Misa Avacham. Our Mishnah is Nachum. He's saying the same thing. Our Mishnah is Rabbi Kiva. Avo, this is an African. This is where he changes. That today's days, because we look at Megillah to figure out when Pesach is, we're not going to change the Zman of Megillah. Now we have a raya to Rabbi Yechon instead of a kasha. Because before we already asked the kasha from Rabbi Yehuda. Now we're going to bring a raya. Rabbi Yehuda aim is Zman Shanim to Tikanam v'Yisoshu Nalad Masan Al V'Zman Hazeh. So when do we do Megillah early? When we're running the show when Eretz Yisrael, when Yisrael is running the land Al V'Zman Hazeh Hayom Mistaklim but in Karan Al V'Zmana, which is exactly what the Chacham say according to Rabbi Yochanan. So now Rabbi Yochanan makes sense. Before Rabbi Yochanan was saying that Rabbanan hold B'chal, you never make it early. So then he wouldn't shtim according. Then Yehuda wouldn't have any shita to shtim like. But now we change Rabbi Yechon's shita to say that Rabbi Yehuda, that the Rabbanan hold that Bisman Hazeh the only arguing on Rabbi Kiva. So now that's exactly what Rabbi Yehuda said. Rashi kasha the Rabbi Yehuda. Rashi heard this member of Rabbi Yehuda. Then he had a kasha from another member of Rabbi Yehuda. So he said this brisa of the memory of Yehuda saying that Bisman Hazeh we don't lane early. He said it's not Yehuda dafka. It's Rabbi Yehuda. Umi Amar Rabbi Yehuda Bisman Hazeh Halim is talking about Ein Karin Asel Bismana. This is his kasha. Did Rabbi Yehuda say this memory of Bisman Hazeh Halim is talking about that because we look at Kis Megillah to figure out what Pesach is Ein Karin Asel Bismana? We only lane dafka in Bisman. Wait a minute, I'm going to ask you a stira from another member of Rabbi Yehuda. Amar Rabbi Yehuda from a brisa. From a Mishnah, when do we lane early dafka? When do we have this ability to lane from Yud Alfi Beis Gimel? That's only in a neighborhood, in an area where the chaver go in early. The whole point is because we don't want to make them schlep in twice. The guys in the small city, they have to go to the big city to hear Kriyas Torah, to go to the market. So if they have to come in again to hear Megillah, it's a big creek. They don't have a Balkarim by them. It's a small city. They don't have island over there. So we don't want to make them come back. And so Rabbi Yehuda says the whole tachlis is they shouldn't come back again, but in a place where they don't go, let's say to the marketplace. Whatever reason it is, they don't go in anyway. So then it's not a creek. So go in on the day that you're supposed to go in. But a day that they don't go in the Shein v'Chamishi, then it's not, you're not going in extra time. Just go in on Yidal when he's supposed to go in. So, but it's mashma that no, he made the nafkamin in whether they go in or they don't go in. He didn't say bisman hazeh or not. So it's mashma. In a place where they go in the shein chamishi, you are allowed to go in early. Even bisman hazeh. So it's not like the chachamim. So he doesn't have a shita. Again, it's not like Rabbi Kiva because Rabbi Kiva says always you go in. You go back early, and it's not like the chachamim say you never go back in. So how does it work? So he says, okay, this brisa that says that you only go in, Bisman Hazeh you don't go in, that's Dafka Rabbi Yossi. That's a race by Yehuda, not Rabbi Yehuda. In fact, the more Mishum the Kashle Rabbi Yehuda, because he had this question of a stira, Mokim lo the brisa Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda, I can come with another answer. You know, we don't like changing the authors of brisa. We heard the brisa from someone, the charetz from that person. Why are you changing the name? And for the Gemara, Rabbi Ashi Shami the Asi. Rabbi Yehuda, the Ikad Asi Rabbi Yehuda. He heard two different versions. Now, the word brisa, the types of brisa means outside. It wasn't memories that were learned in Bismarish, so they're not as reliable. They were said outside. It was outside schmoozing, and they said this memory. So sometimes things got a little bit. The word as in that could challenge it, could work it out. So Mishnah was learned inside Bismarish, and there was a lot of Ian to make sure that it was given over correctly, and the brisa was outside, so it's like it's a little bit easier. Whenever you have a machlekes, a brisa and a mishnah, the mishnah always wins because it's much more reliable. So over here, so he said, he heard two different versions of the brisa, one from Rabbi Yehuda, one from Rabbi Yehuda. He had this kasha from the mishnah from Rabbi Yehuda. He said, okay, so that's Rabbi Yehuda, fine. With the kasha, because he had this kasha, Rabbi Yehuda, Amar man dutani like Rabbi Yehuda lav dafka. The one who said that it's Rabbi Yehuda is lav dafka. Man dutani like Rabbi Yehuda dafka. And the ikar version, ikar Messiah, is that this brisa is from Rabbi Yehuda. Shkayach.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Sweet. Thank you so much. How much have I logged on over there?
6 total.
Mo.
Your guys? I put on the chat.
Hold on 1 second. I don't know why it's different over here.